Magnetism field due to a toroid. So basically, a toroid is a hollow circular solenoid-like structure, and it has large number of turns of a wire closely wound to each other, just like a solenoid, as it is shown here in the figure. These are the turns of wire which has been wound around in a toroid, closely wound. It is somewhat similar to a solenoid only. It's just that it is different in shape. While a solenoid is a cylindrical structure, linear structure, on the other hand, a toroid is a circular structure, circular in shape. So mainly we can consider a toroid to be a solenoid which has been bent into a circular shape. Now, the field of the toroid, it can be divided into three different parts. Okay, the first one can be field at point P, which is situated inside the toroid in the open space, inner open space of the toroid. Then there is field at point Q, which is situated in the outer open space, the space outside the toroid, open space outside the toroid. That can be considered as field at point Q, which is situated outside of it. And then there is the third one, or the third region, which is the region inside of the toroid, as I am showing here. The region which is inside the toroid there. So now here basically the magnetic field inside, that means at point P, and outside, that is at point Q, is 0. We will be proving it in the coming derivation. And only the field is present in the region between the coil or turns of the toroid. So here we derive the expression for magnetic field due to a toroid. But for that, I would like to explain the sectional view of a toroid here. Here the yellow concentric circles, or the bold concentric circles, they represent the toroid here, and the direction of current has been shown here. The dots here represent the dots on this particular concentric circle. This is the outer radius of the toroid. Okay, so the dots here represent the current coming out of or emerging out of the toroid, and the inner circle, or the inner end, or you can say the inner diameter of the toroid. Here the direction of current has been represented by cross, and cross represents this. The cross represents current entering into the plane. So this is how the direction of current is in this given toroid. Now, as I told you in the previous through the previous diagram, point P is situated in the inner space, inner empty space in the toroid. Point Q is in the outer empty space, and point S is situated inside the toroid. Okay, so here we make three Amperian loops. Amperian loop 1, which is on which point P is situated, its radius is taken to be R1. Amperian loop 2, in which point S, which is the point inside the toroid, is situated, its radius is taken as R2. And Amperian loop 3, on which point Q is situated, and its radius has been taken as R3, are here. So now we start the derivation. First of all, the direction of magnetic field can be easily determined through thumb rule, and inside this toroid it is clockwise, as it is shown here on this Amperian loop here. Now, as I already explained to you about the Amperian loops, now first we find out the magnetic field along loop 1, that is the innermost Amperian loop of radius R1. Now suppose the magnetic field along Amperian loop 1 be B1, then its length, the length is the perimeter of our loop, circular loop, which is 2 pi r, and since its radius is r1, so it will be 2 pi r1. Very easy. Okay, so this is because we will be using this length in the Ampere's circuital law. So now enclosed current. Next we find the enclosed current, because what does the Ampere's circuital law says? It states that integral B dot dl is equal to mu naught I. So along with the length, you also need to take the enclosed current. Mu naught times the enclosed current gives you, in order to you make use of Ampere's circuital law, you need the enclosed current also. So here you see, since in this Amperian loop 1, there is no enclosed current. All the current is enclosed within the toroid only. This region, no enclosed current is there. So we take enclosed current equal to 0. So the RHS of Ampere's circuital law becomes 0 because the enclosed current is 0. So the overall RHS right hand side becomes 0. And in LHS B dot dl, the overall length is 2 pi r1. That's why I have taken 2 pi r1. So on solving it further, what do we get? We get the expression, the magnitude of magnetic field equal to 0, B1 equal to 0. Now, next, so what do we understand from this discussion? As I told you earlier also, we have proven it mathematically that the magnetic field at any point P in the open space inside the toroid, as it is shown here, it is 0. Next, we move on to the magnetic field along loop 3. Okay, so we have taken it as B3 here. Okay, now again, the perimeter of this loop, this Amperian loop 3 is 2 pi r3 because its radius is r3. That's why. So L, and again we apply the same logic because here the current is enclosed only within the toroid only, and that's why the current entering, the current coming out of the plane is equal to current going into it or entering it. So it is overall current is cancelled, and enclosed current for loop 3, Amperian loop 3, this one, the outermost loop. So enclosed current for this loop is 0, and that's why again by the same logic as earlier, the magnetic field B3 becomes 0, just like we have proven it for the previous situation. Now here we are determining the magnetic field inside the toroid. So we take a point S which is situated inside the toroid, and it is situated on the Amperian loop 2 as I am showing here. So let we take the magnetic field to be B. Magnetic field at point S or magnetic field inside the toroid is B. Now here, as you can see, I have taken the radius of this Amperian loop 2 equal to small r. So this small r is the average radius of the whole loop, because some Amperian whole toroid, because some Amperian loops might be larger than loop 2. Some Amperian loops inside the toroid might be larger than loop 2, and some might be smaller than loop 2. So we have averaged out the radius, and the radius is r. Okay, so here, so obviously the perimeter will be 2 pi r. L is equal to 2 pi r for average radius r. Now the enclosed current in the toroid, because I is the, if I is the current in each turn and n is the total number of turns, then the enclosed current is n into I. Very obvious. So this is the enclosed current. Now we put these values in the Ampere's circuital law. We apply Ampere's circuital law for the toroid. So B dot dl integral means B into the total length 2 pi r is equal to mu naught into enclosed current, that is Ni. So we get this expression, and on further solving it, rearranging the terms, we get the expression for magnetic field, that is mu naught Ni upon 2 pi r. Now, if I take the number of turns per unit length of this toroid as small n and 2 pi r is total length of the toroid, as I have already explained, then the total number of turns capital N can be written as number of turns per unit length multiplied by the total length, that is 2 pi r into n. So capital N, here I am replacing capital N in this equation by 2 pi rn. So what do we get on solving this? Here, as I have done, I have replaced capital N in the above equation by 2 pi rn from the given logic that I explained. So here 2 pi r and 2 pi r and the equation get cancelled out, and we get the final equation, final expression for magnetic field inside the toroid, which is mu naught Ni. B is equal to mu naught Ni. And you can see that this expression is similar to the magnetic field inside a solenoid. So that means the magnetic field of a solenoid and a toroid are same, or are of the same form, or have the same expression. Thank you. Like, share and subscribe to the practical side for more interesting and informative videos.